All right, all, welcome back to the shop. It is time to dig into the transom. We have finished the stringers. So that grid is good. Today, we are going to cut back the last few feet here, probably 18, 24 inches, and start tearing out this old wood. So far, it doesn't look like I've got too much work ahead of me. It's pretty rotten, pretty delaminated, pretty hollow. A couple loose spots already. So hopefully it doesn't take a lot of doing to get this the rest of the way out. One little fun fact: the stern eyes that I lifted the boat up by have no nuts on the back of them, either one. So that could have been real fun. So we'll dodged a little bullet with that one. But anyways, yeah, let's get set up, grab some tools, and see what we can find in here. All right, yeah, I would say that wood is a little wet. It's pretty much completely rotted out at the bottom. Just, yeah, not much left of it. So let's pull this cut right along here, back down along the bottom. Should be able to pull this whole skin off. I cut it on the outside. I should have cut it on the inside, but probably don't even need to cut it. I can just rip it off. So keep at it. All right, cut all the way around that seam. See if we can't rip this inner skin out. It's in pretty sorry state, I would say. We got, literally just completely nothing left. So, okay, should be easy to get the rest of the way out. All right, making a mess, making some progress. So if anybody is ever pulling apart a transom on a 240 that's got these weird bump outs and wonder how it's built inside, the transom went straight across into there, and they just poured a bunch of foam in the gap and left it. So not a lot of structure on that side. A little piece of wood up there. So anyways, that's magic secret. So yeah, funny, the only part of this that's actually somewhat solid is right in the middle between these the 4 bolt holes, which is hilarious to me. That, you know, over here, over there, I mean obviously by these drain holes, and on the side just totally falling apart, soaked, but right in the middle, still fairly solid and bonded on well. So just got to keep at it. All right, that is the bulk of the wood. So it looks like, well, minus those, it looks like what they did, you know, they had the outer transom, they put a thin layer of glass across the whole thing, in addition to the outer skin, then laid the plywood in there. So once it looks like it was 2 layers of plywood. Once I got through the first one, you know, and I got back behind it, I could see that second layer of glass that was mostly delaminated. I was able to cut that, pull out some big chunks, clean out. So that helped. So we'll get the rest of this mess cleaned up. Keep going. Next plan is, now that we have the majority of it loose, everything is debonded, coming loose, but these stringers are in the way, so they gotta go. All right, finally got this thing loose. So tips for anybody who watches this with the intention of doing it themselves. This is all just tabbing. You can just cut this all loose. That's easy. Up and over, no problem. Right down the seam there, around, and then along the very bottom. That's all just tabbing. This and this, I believe, are just old 2x4s or whatever they use at the factory. Problem is, back here, this is tabbed into this piece. So you can cut this loose all you want, but it ain't coming out unless you cut here. And this is actually pretty thick glass right there. That's about the only part in the boat where the Aquasport guys, you know, weren't skimpy on the glass. So then take the old trusty handsaw, just go down there and cut that foam, because it has a surprising amount of grip on there. So busted out my old friend the gantry to kind of lift this up and see where it was still hanging up, and it was hanging up like right in here. I think there's something inside of there as well, maybe a piece of wood that, you know, parallels this, that I had to cut through, and that was a lot thicker than I thought. So it's loose now, so I'm gonna go ahead and snatch it out. All right, no promises. I don't know what's under here. Hanging up right down there again. Obviously that's pretty thick, so go ahead and trim that real quick so it doesn't pop and fly into my face. All right, I think we're good now. There she blows. Still surprisingly full of foam. I love this thing so much. All right, there she is. That is out. Yeah, you can see they I mean, right around these corners and stuff, they didn't skimp on that glass. That's good. Thick. Measured if you want. Yeah, that one's out. That one's next. Same process. I'm going to do most of the cutting. Same thing along the seam, up and over. Outside tabbing. Shit, I actually glassed that. So that'll be a little more challenge. We'll get that cut out. And come back when I'm ready to snatch that one up too. Alright, got the starboard side hooked up here. Cut loose. Go ahead and ran around that. Through there, up, over. Cut out the tabbing all the way down and up around here. So this one, I did give it a little test pull just to see. It was still kind of bonded to the transom there. That wood was pretty wet, so I just let the gantry just rip it out. One thing I did have to do before is just kind of wedge a pry bar or chisel anything under there, just kind of break. There's a little glue or something underneath there as well. Just kind of pop that loose, it really helps. And then as long as you get this loose, it comes right out. That one actually let go a little easier because I realized what I was doing this time. That's how it always is. So you can see I was saying that there was some voids in there. Yeah. Good job from the factory. That's some of the foam that I had poured in from one of these holes that kind of trickled back. I didn't top it off all the way because I knew I was going to cut these off, but yeah, some of them took quite a bit, so glad I did it. And yeah, stringers are pretty stout. That's, you know, hard to cut these out and throw them away. Unless, like I said, they're really, really bad. I mean, you look down here at the bottom, that's pretty thick fiberglass, so. All right, so I am most of the way through this transom, and one tool you will not see laying around out here right now is a grinder, because I don't know what this stuff is, but I'm literally just able to drive a chisel right behind it and pop it right off and leave the outer transom skin, which is pretty good shape. So, hey, I'll take it. Well, I've done a handful of these transoms, and this is the first time that I have gotten it this clean without touching the grinder. I had chisel, saw, crowbar, mallet, oscillating tool, and yeah, that was about it. This stuff just chipped right off. So this is what we're at now. We're in good shape to keep going. So, of course, now it is time to break out the grinder. Of course, now that it's 82 degrees, Florida winter does not hold on very long. So, gonna go ahead and bunny suit up and get this knocked out. All right, amazing the difference a few hours with a grinder will make. We have just the outer skin left. Got everything off. Minus that, gotta pop that off. Got to do a little more in the corners. I'm gonna use the file sander for that to really get in those corners. And then this part, this bulkhead, I'll hit that with a regular sander, get all that cleaned up. And we will start making a plan for building the transom back up. I know we're going with coosa board and raise it a little bit. I do want to keep these bump outs. I think they add a nice little style that kind of defines the Sea Hunter Aquasport. So don't want to cut those out. And I'm not a big fan of cutting the whole back skin off a transom anyway. So that'll do it for part one of the transom. Stick around for part two, where we will start putting it all back together. So appreciate you guys watching, and we'll talk to y'all soon.